I stopped doing these sorts of messages online as I thought we were going back to normal after COVID, and it didn't happen. And in any case, what we're finding is a lot of people are still engaging online, people who don't normally come anywhere near a church service, and that's fine because you can come near like this. You can watch live streams of services at St Stephen's every week in the centre of Redditch. There are other stuff. Cafe Church is really good for young families, and if you go to the Cafe Church Tideby YouTube site or YouTube page and YouTube channel, sorry, or the Tideby Church website, you can get access to those. And of course there's good national stuff you can find. I've really enjoyed some of the Holy Trinity Brompton stuff which comes out every Sunday. I think that at the moment we are in a place of unexpected uncertainty with certain threats to our quality of life, or at least quantity of life. We know that with fuel bills going to go up, inflation's going to go up, it means that there'll be a lot of price rises, that we won't have quite so much money to spend because we'll be paying a little bit more on our fuel bills. The government, of course, is still subsidising a bunch of stuff. We're having to buy more and more vaccines in, and there's a lot of ongoing research to try and make sure that we can get COVID to a place where it's of no greater significance than a cold or flu. Meanwhile, of course, there was all that money that we have spent already on what's been happening to various parts of the working world that have been impaired because of COVID. And we know that the hospitality industry are desperate to see the end of restrictions so that, well, not only that we can enjoy ourselves, of course, but they can enjoy taking our money. And that's also about people's livelihoods. All sorts of challenges, therefore, coming up. And the challenge of planning. Can we plan holidays? Can we plan family events and occasions? When can we plan them? How much risk are we taking? And actually we don't know the answers to those questions. We don't know the answers to the questions about church when people are coming back to church. A number of older people have really found it quite difficult to come, and the average age of a lot of services has been lower this year and around Christmas time than usual. And then there's God. And God's at the back of all of this somewhere, or above all of it somewhere perhaps. Where's He? One thing that God does is He prunes back in order to facilitate growth. Every branch that bears fruit in me, He says, gets pruned. I don't know if you thought about what pruning must be like, but having bits lopped off you doesn't sound like fun. And a number of us have had bits lopped off our lives in the last couple of years. Another problem with the uncertainty that we've faced has been our plans have disintegrated and fallen to dust on many occasions. Some people have spent 3, 4, 5 attempts just to get a marriage ceremony, for example. And God's saying here, now you thought you were in control. You thought nothing could shake your sense of certainty. That we could have a Frank Sinatra society that did it our way. I did it my way. It doesn't work like that, does it? Says God. Just when you think you're so strong and so clever, a virus pops up and you're knocked off balance very, very easily. Now hear me. I have made you stop so that you can choose to follow me afresh. Many people are sitting down right now at the beginning of this year and saying, we're going to have to start again from scratch. No, things can't go back to the way they used to be. We need to start again. And so says God, now's the time to make space for me. Now's the time to give me time. Now's the time to start to listen again and not just presume. The start of following rather than expecting to lead. Many of you, God is saying, have sat at home giving me orders about what you want and the way I ought to be. Some of you have sat there and sat in judgment over me and told me what I should be like, rather than the way that I am. A lot of you who thought you know about me and my son without really ever having read much about me. And many of you have written me off completely without ever really having inquired as to what I'm really like. Don't make that mistake in the future, because every day is a new day in which my love is available, and every day you are missing out. And God's really concerned about us missing out. He loves us so much. He wants his love to be poured out into our lives. But how can he pour into something when the lid's still on? We have a little phrase sometimes we use in church, which is let go and let God. Let go and let God. Just imagine you're coming home and the person you love most in life comes out to see you. And you can't give them a hug, or you can't do anything to express your affection because you're carrying shopping in both hands, under your arms, and there's even got a bag in your teeth. See, that's what a lot of people are like with God. They're carrying so much baggage, they can't receive any sort of love. They can't give any sort of love towards God. During COVID, we get the chance to have a think about things, put things down, and give God some space, give God a part of our lives in a way that we haven't done perhaps ever, or perhaps for some time. Now's our chance. It's a new year. It's time for a New Year's revolution. Let's take that chance. It's not too late to sign up for Alpha, of course. That's one way of looking further into the Christian faith. But have a look online, because God is speaking to us online now as well as in church services. The great thing about online stuff is you can access them at any time. We'd love to see you in person, of course. And as COVID eases, I hope we'll get larger church service attendances. But above all, let's take opportunities like this to find out more about Jesus, to access some of that worship that's going on. And of course, in my team, we're doing morning prayer at 9 o'clock on the Home Trinity Redditch website, most days, ideally Monday to Saturday, and then at 5 o'clock every evening. All things come from God. Let's remember to give thanks to him for those things. And when things aren't going so well, yes, of course, call out to him, but don't blame him. God is there for us. But he's there for us in the midst of what we call a fallen world, a world full of all human failings, not to mention the natural disasters and challenges that we face, which are partly our fault as well, of course. So it's time for that New Year's revolution, and it's over to you.